I always say this, you not pick your own family, but we pick this ball club. Everybody's in this clubhouse right now is a family for next 7 months.
The decision shouldn't be upon how much we love him, but based upon what's best for this team.
Hey, how the baby, Kino?
First and foremost, we have to win.
Jerry put Chicago back in the map. I love Jerry Reinsdorf more than I love my dad.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning.
Kenny was like a zealot this winter. He was just determined that we were going to get better.
Focus. If I don't believe that focus is there, I will get rid of it. It's not going to work out for you. I'm sorry. You will get the truth, and you'll get it right between the eyes.
That man is from Oakland, brother. I'm from Caracas. We grew up in the street. Hey, let's go. Wake up here. Let's go. Come on. And the captain of this boat. If this boat is going to sink, oh, my God, I'll be the first one to go down with them. You want to say anything about your teammate? Say it through your face.
There are things that he says
This is Ozzy's team.
that I wish he hadn't said.
Don't hate Ozzy, hate the White Sox.
Tell Ozzy that he might have said something he shouldn't have said.
I could tell him that, yeah. It's like if you have a marriage. Your marriage is not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good.
We are a lot of things around here,
What? Yeah, we are crazy.
but we have never been described as boring.
I'll be the first guy to die for this ball club.
You've got millions out there who fancy baseball. This is for real.
Yeah. And in the fantasy world, though, if you don't like your trade, make a new one. Get rid of it. You know, I make a trade, a guy is under contract for 3 years. I've got to watch what I just did for 3 years and sit next to Jerry Reinsdorf, who's watching it too. So the stakes are a little higher.
Ken Williams is the most aggressive general manager in baseball. He has made by far the most trades over the last decade. You know Ken Williams is going to do something. The only questions are exactly what and how big.
My problem is, when I look at the list, they're familiar names, we all know them and everything, and I think the names look better than the performances.
Whether it be Jackson or a group of prospects, you know, when Kenny Williams wants a guy, he gets the guy.
Listen, it's agonizing to go through the process that we go through before we cut a player, before we trade a player. I had to call Aaron Rowand on the phone, was one of my favorite people as well, and players helped us win a World Series. I said, well, you're driving. I need you to pull over. I got to talk to you. He's like, oh, no, I've been traded. I'm like, yeah, you've been traded. And his wife sitting next to him screeches out, oh, no, tell me no. And it went right through my heart. Because we get very interactive with our players and their families. So when you have to make those decisions to tell them they're moving on, you know, it can be gut-wrenching.
But doing what's best for the team overrides everything. So the trade beat went on.
There's a strong possibility we can get Edwin Jackson or Hudson. Surprisingly, when we looked at the numbers, his ground ball fly ball ratio was in line.
This guy's got good stuff. You get a guy ahead with good stuff, he'd be lethal.
In 06 and 07, he was where his ratio is now, and he became more of a fly ball pitcher, and he's now come back to that. But yeah, it's 1.7 right now, and he's striking out over 7 for 9, which is a good combination.
Let's see that one. Let's see that one again. Slow.
We know one thing, Edwin Jackson did pitch the American League. So we do know he had success there. Sometimes we always say the National League guy going to the American League, but we do know that Edwin Jackson was successful with Tampa Bay. The real question is where we think Daniel Hudson fits down the road. I mean, if this guy goes back to what he was in Tampa, let's just say the high end is a 3, the worst end is a 4 and 5. What is Daniel Hudson doing?
If it's a clear opportunity to get better and dramatically increase our chances to win this year, we're going to have to seriously consider doing it.
I'm struggling a little bit here because I kind of was fixated on the rotation being just fine with Daniel in it, you know, and the way Freddie has pitched up until his last outing.
But there are certain guys that you're going to be real hesitant to move simply because they do fit for the next several years and what you hope to be next several championship caliber clubs.
My concern will always still be, Freddie's been wonderful. He's been God-sent, what he's done. Can he still do it in August and September? And you're still talking about Daniel Hudson, whether he can go out and do the same. If he can, well, that's great.
Let's get to what's the best little mix for us.
Beyond the quest for pitching, the possibility of landing an all-star quality bat was turning from fantasy to reality.
We're ready to go. We'll do that deal for Berkman with the cash that we talked about.
I think this time of year, we tend to get a little more focused on the fact that, as Kenny says, they're only giving away one World Series trophy this year, the one for 2010.
I am going to let you and Rick get together on the terms of that and all the particulars of on the back end of this thing, okay, with the cash, okay?
And if we're in a position to improve ourselves, improve our chances to get that trophy, then we're going to do the best we can to get into that position.
I'm on board. I've got the approval from ownership, so you guys, when Ed gets off the line, have him give me a call.
It really comes down to two things. When we get this player, are we better? And two, are we improved enough that it justifies the cost? So?
He's got a very limited amount of clubs that he will go to, and we are not one of them. And I didn't get a reason why.
Official, the press release has just been sent out. Lance Berkman is a member of the New York Yankees. This deal is done.
It's Pete. He must be calling me from Alabama. Hey, Jake, how you doing, man?
There were reports you did turn down the possibility of going to the Chicago White Sox. Can you explain that and also explain the role that Andy Pettitte played in you saying yes to the Yankees?
Steve, he had talked to Berkman. Berkman wanted to make sure that we understood there was nothing personal, and he had already been talking to Pettitte and knew that that was a possibility. So he already had that in his mind.
You know, to have an opportunity to come up here and play with Andy was really too good to pass up. And no disrespect to the White Sox. I know firsthand they have a great organization. They beat us in 2005 for the World Series title.
Losing Lance was a setback for the men in the boardroom, but there were still many more options to explore. The fun was just beginning.
The Chicago White Sox wasted little time in getting Friday off on the right foot by trading for Edwin Jackson.
The White Sox had taken the plunge and brought Jackson into their rotation, but Williams still had time to fine-tune the team.
I will not say that we haven't explored other pieces to put, with this.
And it's still a possibility that Jackson winds up with Washington.
This team right here that we've got on the field, they're fighting like hell every night.
Going to be close, safe at home plate.
And we're comfortable and confident with them. If there's an opportunity to add to it in any way, shape, or form, know that we're working on it.
I'm still waiting to see what Kenny Williams has up his sleeve.
But it's with the mindset that we don't want to take away from the club that you see out on the field.
Kenny Williams is always trying to do something to try to make this team competitive, and right now, they're sitting in a pretty good spot.
Even in a winning streak, you can't, in this position, sit back and enjoy it because there's always one more move to make. Always.
But they had just a few hours left to make that move and land a big bat.
The latest on Manny is that the White Sox intend to take one last stab at it. It's been described to me as a half-court shot that is still in the air. In the initial...
All right, nobody leave the Everybody put your phones in the middle of the table here.
But one thing we should note here, the White Sox wanted Berkman. He rejected the deal, invoking his no-trade right.
How is he getting this?
They clearly made a run at Manny. They seem to be on the periphery, at least, still of the done discussion.
It's one thing to be a part of the discussion, but it takes a lot of diligence to actually get the player you are seeking.
So we'll go with that model.
Yeah.
Now we need to talk players.
If you're looking for somebody that I had at least at this moment trust, who's done it before, it would be him.
Assuming everyone does what they're supposed to do, I think is the first level of analysis, and then you can talk about what we're giving up in terms of depth and insurance.
Getting our guy, but strengthening them is not the best scenario for us either.
When you get down to the last couple of hours, you are trying to either finish up the deals that you have going.
We're not begging anybody and negotiating against ourselves. Not going to do it.
Or you're trying to assert yourself to get something else stirred up.
Contemplating doing the same thing to Washington.
What would the offer be?
I don't know yet.
Has there been a Jackson for Dunn offer rejected by them yet, even?
Nope. Hasn't been offered either.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Do you start with that?
I don't. I'd rather keep Jackson.
I know I've come down to the 12th hour feeling you got to make a deal, you got to make a deal.
Here's what we're willing to do. Here's what you're willing to do. Here's our highest level of tolerance. What's yours? Do we match up? Yes or no? No? Okay, we move on.
Sometimes the best trades are the trades you don't make.
I'm going to say no. Good. If we don't win, we're going to let them it up. We're not going to be the ones to it up. They've got a good thing going on. If we're going to add to it, we're going to strictly add to it, not subtract from it. Everybody disagree? All right. Unless something really good comes along.
There is only so much one side can do in a negotiation. And the hurry up and wait atmosphere can be taxing on everyone in the room.
This poor guy right here's got his arms are holding this microphone up. He's like, I'm getting nothing out of here. What do you got? Man, you may as well put that thing down. Grab yourself something to drink. Seriously, not until, what time is it right now? 1:15? 2 o'clock? You can pick that back up.
It goes with the territory, but waiting and wondering can be the hardest part of the job. There was just 1 hour left, but the White Sox brain trust held out hope, recalling how they got their man last season.
Remember last year, 23 seconds left in the deadline before the Jake Peavy deal was done.
Okay, so last year we finished the Peavy deal with 23 seconds, but when did we start it? How long did it take us to start once we got the paperwork done?
Our agreement with San Diego was probably shortly around now. Less than an hour out, but more than 40 minutes, 45 minutes, I'd say.
I don't think so. We're focused elsewhere. It was one of those at the end, towards the end of the conversation, like, who are you talking about?
As the minutes waned, frustration over the process set in.
So all it's done is used us for leverage with a perceived greater interest than we actually have. You know what, if we're gonna go down like that and not get the player, we ain't gonna be used in the process. We're not getting anybody. Not now. If something happens,
we'll call you if we make a deal.
Well, you know, you give a guy with experience. Hopefully, when he got here, don't come here and think he's a savior.
Well, not a savior. Edwin Jackson just has to be part of an already formidable rotation.
What's up, man? Bob. How you doing, man? Welcome in. Yeah. Everybody says it, but it really is a good bunch of guys here, man. Pitching coach Don Cooper is unbelievable.
How you doing, Coop? How you doing? Nice to meet you. Glad to be here. I'm glad to have you. We'll talk later. We have to get all this done. Okay.
I don't want to PR guys.
So how you doing? How you doing?
I was excited, yes, because I think it gives the team a chance to have another pitcher. Jackson, baby.
How you doing?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Welcome, baby. How you doing? Good. A lot of people say, well, we need this, we need that, we need that. But in my point, I want pitchers. That's what I want. Pitching. When Kenny asks me what you need, I always say pitching. No battle. Believe me. Make sure you're not coming here to be the man. Hit the puzzle. Okay? Just go out and do your. So every time you get in trade, you think I have to be the man. It's not the man. It's going to be one of the 5 guys we got out there. You're not coming here to be the saver. Right. Come here to help us to win. Right. All right? All right. Welcome, Bobby. Hey, glad to now, be finally, you'll find who really I am. All the they talk.
Our focus going in was taking care of the back end of the rotation, simply because of the loss of Jake Peavy. So we made the move for Edwin Jackson.
Something else, or if you need different size or something. Okay, appreciate it.
I'm glad Jackson is here. It's a good thing about he got experience, and he pitched in American League before.
With Jackson now on board, all the rumors and sleepless nights were over. The Sox had proved that you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need.
Offensively, and at this point it's a luxury, would have been nice to add a left-handed bat or even just a good bat into the middle of the lineup in the DH spot.
But we're not going to make moves just to make moves. We don't want to mess around and have a negative impact on this club that is gelling right now.
Every deal that came about for us, with the exception of the Berkman deal that he exercises no trade rights on, we made the decision to stand pat.
Kenny, ultimately, was the asking price of whomever you were dealing with too high?
Well, I was not trading Gordon Beckham in any of these deals.
Gordon Beckham never is going to get traded.
And pretty much the conversation started and stopped with that.
We don't trade him when it was very bad. Now we're not going to trade when it's good.
Long and short-term considerations that you have to balance this time of year and not get too caught up in the frenzy of, hey, we're going to get this guy, it makes us better for 2 months, but we've just lost out on 6 years of this guy's career at least.
Has this trading deadline been any more taxing than any of the other ones previous?
It's been more frustrating.
God, I need to have more fun doing this. I know I do.
I'm not going to tell you why, but it's been more frustrating.
I need some sleep.
The last 2 weeks, it's been one long day for me. I don't even know what today is.
I'm going to lay down and try to bring some white back into my pupils. Eyes. Pupils are black. Right? Eyeballs are white.
Eyes work.
Whatever. See how tired I am? Gotta go.
The brass had done its part. Now it was up to the brash manager and his men to maintain the Sox winning ways, and Ozzie had no doubt they would.
I feel proud of the players because they proved people wrong. I did it myself, you know what I mean? When I got married, people thought I'm only gonna be married for a couple months. This is my 20-something years being married. They never thought I'm gonna make it to big league. All of a sudden, I got 17 years career. When I'm manager, people think it's gonna be a 1 year thing. This is my 7th year. Regardless how far we go, it's gonna be a special year for me because what we went through.
Billy Beane and I were talking yesterday. He was telling me that his wife is on him all the time to make sure that he tapes the club because it's, you know, he doesn't go home. Really, none of us go home and talk about our day-to-day stuff. They just know we're gone a lot and for long hours, and, you know, we turn prematurely gray. And she was saying she's now gotten a little insight into what he does on a day-to-day basis.
On The Club, we've shown you the inner workings of the men in charge of the Chicago White Sox.
These are self-explanatory. Gehrig's glove, Ruth baseball, Dodgers winning the World Series, which until the White Sox won the World Series, that was my greatest day in sports.
So before we bid farewell from the South Side, let's take one last look at The Club.
I truly believe, guys, this is the beginning of a great summer.
You're getting much more than you bargained for here, ain't you?
The Chicago White Sox select Chris Sale.
Is not available.
This will be a first if we cannot get a hold of a first-round pick.
At the tone, please record your message.
I don't know, we just like to say hi.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
I would hate to see you with a hot dog putting ketchup on it.
I do that all the time.
People who are involved in running a baseball team are just people like anybody else.
Let me ask you a question. I've heard that from many people over the years. Who wrote those rules about
It's in the Bible.
Maybe people think, yeah, we are crazy. I told him right in his face, I said, people think you hurt because you big, you fat. We don't need a meeting every day to talk about this ball club. Good team win games, team have meeting.
I said, thou shalt not put ketchup on a hot dog.
That's all I can say.
We just sit down and talk about the team. We sit down and talk about life.
Hell, we just sat in his room, in his office a little while ago, hanging out and just talking about Telemundo. We're talking about one of those guys, at this point in time, one of those guys or a 12th pitcher.
One of those guys, Pujols?
I could trade for him today, and you'd tell me, no, we don't have it in the budget. You find it.
I like to be involved in the discussion, and then when it comes to money, I have to have the final say because it's obviously my money that they're spending.
It's his turn to pay today, yeah.
If I figure out it's not, I'll send you a bill.
Thank you very kindly. Appreciate it.
You call him Peach Out. Oh, your best catch in baseball, Peach Out. You got 10 gold glove, Peach Out. That's a chain, Rodriguez. Peach Out again.
Terrio goes. Here's Brzezinski's throw. Save.
Oh, he didn't got it. What happened? He missed the tag?
No, I thought he was bringing the tag up to him.
Oh, my God. Wow. Wow.
When we're losing, it builds up and it builds up and it builds up.
That's his problem. That's my problem. That's Kenny's problem. That's everybody's problem. That's you guys' problem. That's the fans' problem. A little frustrating.
Camera pan right. Here comes manager Ozzie Guillen. Panning right is a production term.
Hi, I'm Ozzie Guillen.
The most White Sox games are right here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Hi, I'm Ozzie Guillen. The most supporters are
right here on Comcast.
I'm gonna go to college for this one.
Over the years, I got to the point where I could actually understand what he was saying.
If I say something about it, I think people are going to say I'm jealous or I'm talking a lot of crap again. You know what I mean? No, I think just say, hey, we're not doing anything yet.
I thought Ozzie might be here today. That's what I was hoping.
Ozzie's busy tweeting.
Is anything we're missing? Please say it. It's on YouTube.
I missed a lot of this. Is this going to be on your Twitter later?
Why is I really... People look at me like I'm crazy? What? He liked you. He's in love with you. And you can edit that. Every time I say something, I think about it before I say it. I feel like Mel Gibson here.
Yeah.
No, because of the thing I say. But be prepared what I'm gonna say. Be ready what I say, because behind the scene, it's gonna be something behind that, what I said. I said, why we have a Japanese interpreter and we don't have a Spanish one?
At the end of the day,
we gotta pull the same rope.
we're pulling from the same rope.
Everybody should be ready to kick some ass out there. Nobody can buy a ring. You gotta earn it. That's it. That's it.